Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from 14th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, which is entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature, and today's verse is 27th verse of the 14th chapter. Brahmano hi pratishthaham
Brahmano hi pratisthaham
amritasya vyayasya cha
amritasya vyayasya
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
sukhasya ekantikasya cha
sukhasya ekantikasya cha
brahmano hi pratishthaham
Brahmano hi pratisthaham
amritasya vyayasya cha
amritasya vyayasya cha
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
sukhasya ekantikasya cha
sukhasya ekantikasya cha
brahmano hi pratishthaham
Brahmano hi pratisthaham
amritasya vyayasya cha
amritasya vyayasya
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
shashvatasya cha dharmasya
sukhasya ekantikasya cha.
sukhasya ekantikasya cha
Brahmanaha of the impersonal Brahmajyoti, he certainly, pratishtha, the rest, aham, I am, amritasya, of the immortal, avyayasya, of the imperishable, cha, also, shashvatasya, of the eternal, cha, and dharmasya, of the constitutional position, sukhasya, of happiness, aikantikasya, ultimate, cha, also. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Purport: the constitution of Brahman is immortality, imperishability, eternity, and happiness. Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, the super soul, is the middle, the second stage in transcendental realization. And the Supreme Personality of God is the ultimate realization of the Absolute Truth. Therefore, both Paramatma and the impersonal Brahman are within the Supreme Person. It is explained in the 7th chapter that the material nature is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord impregnates the inferior material nature with fragments of the superior nature, and that is the spiritual touch in the material nature. When a living entity conditioned by this material nature begins the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, he elevates himself from the position of material existence and gradually rises up to the Brahman conception of the Supreme. This attainment of the Brahman conception of life is the first stage in self-realization. At this stage, the Brahman realized person is transcendental to material position, but is not actually perfect in Brahman realization. If he wants, he can continue to stay in the Brahman position and then gradually rise to the Paramatma realization and then to the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many examples of this in Vedic literature. The 4 Kumaras were situated first in the impersonal Brahman conception of truth, but then gradually rose to the platform of devotional service. One who cannot elevate himself beyond the impersonal conception of Brahman runs the risk of falling down. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that although a person may rise to the stage of impersonal Brahman without going further, with no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not perfectly clear. Therefore, in spite of being raised to the Brahman platform, there is a chance of falling down if one is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Vedic language, it is also said, Rasovai saha, rasam hi evayam labdva nandi bhavati. When one understands the personality of God as the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna, he actually becomes transcendently blissful. The Supreme Lord is full in 6 opulences, and when a devotee approaches him, there is an exchange of the 6 opulences. The servant of the king enjoys on an almost equal level with the king, and so the eternal happiness, imperishable happiness, and eternal life accompany devotional service. Therefore, realization of Brahman or eternity or imperishability is included in the devotional service. This is already possessed by a person who is engaged in devotional service. The living entity, although Brahman by nature, has the desire to lord it over the material world, and due to this he falls down. In his constitutional position, a living entity is above the three modes of material nature, but association with the material nature entangles him in different modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Due to the association of these three modes, his desire to dominate the material world is there. By engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, he is immediately situated in the transcendental position, and his unlawful desire to control material nature is removed. Therefore, the process of devotional service, beginning with the hearing, chanting, remembering the prescribed nine methods for realizing devotional service, should be practiced in the association of devotees. Gradually, by such association, the influence of the spiritual master one's material desire to dominate it is removed, and one becomes firmly situated in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This method is prescribed from the 22nd to the last verse of this chapter. Devotional service to the Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord, should eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deities, smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, see the places where the Lord had his transcendental pastimes, read of the different activities of the Lord, his reciprocation of love with his devotees, chant always the transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and observe the fasting days commemorating the appearances and disappearances of the Lord and his devotees. By following such a process, one becomes completely detached from all material activities. One who can thus situate himself in the Brahmajyoti or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of God in quality. Om Tat Sat. So this chapter is finished. This chapter is entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. And how this chapter is connected to the previous chapter, the Lord says in 13th chapter, 22nd verse, Purushaha Prakriti Stohi Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasadyoni Janmashu. So the Lord says that how we have been, from time immemorial, we have been associated with these modes of nature that is making us get different bodies, transmigrating into different bodies. So the root cause is association with the modes. We don't know when we became entangled, the beginning when it actually happened, but we have been transmigrating since time immemorial because of the association of these modes. That is what this chapter is all about. So in this chapter, the Lord says that what the three modes are, how they act, how they bind, and how they liberate us. So this chapter, the Lord teaches us what the three modes of material nature are, how they act upon us, how they bind, and how they liberate us. So in this 14th chapter, the Lord is in the very beginning, He is glorifying in the first two verses, the Lord is glorifying the knowledge that He is going to give now. So what is the nature of this knowledge that Krishna is going to give? Krishna glorifies the pure knowledge. I shall declare unto you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. So by knowing this knowledge, all the great sages have achieved the supreme perfection. And what is the result of knowing this knowledge? By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation and disturbed at the time of dissolution. So this is the glories of this knowledge is, once we know this, we attain the same nature as the Lord. And we are not disturbed at the time of creation, are disturbed, we are not, thus established, one is not born at the time of creation. Like what happens, Brahma's day arise, Brahma's night, then we get manifested, unmanifested. In 8th chapter of the Gita, Krishna clearly says that how the living entities, they are manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. So that's not going to happen. We are not going to be born at the time of creation or get disturbed at the time of dissolution. So that is the glories of this, knowing this knowledge. So Krishna is saying that so far whatever knowledge I have given, this knowledge is, it's a supreme wisdom, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Then in the next two verses, Krishna says how the nature, what is the relationship between Jiva and then Prakriti and Paramatma. The three, what is the relationship? How does the Jiva get entangled in this material nature? So what happens is the material nature is compared to the womb, and the material nature is compared to the womb of the mother. And the father injects the seed, then the mother gets impregnated. So similarly, this material nature, Krishna injects the living entities. Mamayonir Mahad Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadhamyaham Sambhava Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. I impregnate this material nature with all the living entities, and they appear from the material nature. But actually, the root cause is Krishna has planted the seed, and material nature appears to bring out these living entities. But it's not the material nature who is the cause of this living entity's birth. It is the father. It is not the mother who is the source of the birth. It is the father who has injected the living entities into this material. Krishna impregnates this material nature with the living entities, and they appear to be coming from material nature, but it is the Supreme Father. In the purport, Prabhupada gives the example of, in the pile of rice, the scorpions lays its eggs, and scorpions appears to be coming out of rice, but it is the father, the egg is already laid, so the rice is not the cause of the scorpion, but it is the father who has injected those eggs into then they appear to be coming. So like that, material nature is not the cause of the living entities but it is the Supreme Father. Then Krishna says in the 4th verse, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradhapita. In the material world, we see children are being born from the mother's womb. So mother is only a holder. In the Bhagavatam, in 9th canto, it is said that mother is only a holder, that's all. She is not the cause of the child, of the birth of the child at all. It is the father who has injected the seed. So the Supreme Father the original father is Krishna. Of course, we have father, our grandfather, great-grandfather. Like that, if you keep going on to the beginning, it is Krishna who is the Supreme Father. Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Data Pitamaha. He also says, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradhapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and I am the seed-giving father. Krishna is the seed-giving father. So that's what is very important to know. And in 9th chapter, Krishna says that Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Data Pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Riksama Yajarevacha. For Krishna, he has no parents. He is the father and mother of everyone. He is the origin of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate itimatva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. For Krishna, there is no father and mother. And he is there even before the creation happened. Originally, Krishna was already there. So he has no father, mother. But when he appears on this earth, he accepts father and mother like Yashoda Mata, Nanda Maharaj, Devaki, Vasudev. So he is the Supreme Father of everyone. But he acts like an ordinary human being and accepts mother and father and enjoys these pastimes, the love of their father and mother and all. So that's the Supreme Person coming to this material and performing these wonderful pastimes. And when we hear this pastime that Krishna performs here, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. One who knows the transcendental nature of my birth and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. So that is the nature of Krishna's birth and activities. So here Krishna said that he is the original father of everyone. And how these modes of nature, they bind the living entity. So how we get bound by these three modes? So goodness, the material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with material nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. When he comes in contact with material nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. How does the mode of goodness bind one? Mode of goodness is purer than the others and it is illuminating. What is the mode of goodness like? It's purer than others and it is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in this mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Happiness and knowledge. So how does the mode of goodness bind one? By happiness and knowledge. And then mode of passion. Mode of passion, Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sangha Samudbhavam Tanni Badnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. Unlimited desires and longings. The mode of passion is, and another very important feature of mode of passion is a person is very active. Because he has got unlimited desires, to fulfill those unlimited desires and longings, he has to slog like a dog, donkey or whatever. He has to work hard because he has got so many desires, and to fulfill those desires, he has to put intense endeavor. So much endeavor. So, in the mode of passion, a person is very active. Because he has to fulfill these desires, he has to be active. So it says that the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, the embodied living entity is bound by material fruitive activities. So he performs fruitive activities to fulfill his material desires. So many desires are there. Then what is the mode of ignorance like? How does the mode of ignorance bind one? Tamastvajnanajam vidde mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhis tannibadnati bharata. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So how does the mode of ignorance bind one? By madness, indolence and sleep. One who is in the mode of ignorance, he sleeps a lot. And then, his consciousness becomes very dull, inactive. Mode of passion is very active and mode of ignorance is very inactive. More sleeping, like in 24 hours, 12 hours he sleeps. So the mind gets very dull. So like that, the mode of ignorance, mode of goodness is going like this, mode of ignorance goes like that, in opposite direction. So that's why the mode of ignorance, the results of this mode are madness, indolence and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Then Krishna says that how does the three modes bind one? Sattvam Rajas, he says Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayate Rajah Karmani Bharata Jnanam Avrutya Tutamaha Pramade Sanjayatyuta. Mode of goodness binds one to happiness. Mode of passion binds one to fruitive actions. And mode of ignorance binds one to madness. This madness, because there is no clarity in the consciousness. In the mode of goodness, there is clarity. Mode of goodness manifests when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. There is very much clarity in mode of goodness. In ignorance, completely there is no clarity, is so much clouded, and it leads to madness. That binds one to madness. Then the Lord is going to say in the next few verses, recognizing the prominence of the mode. So how the there are three modes, right? Goodness, passion and ignorance. So none of the modes are constantly, like for example, if a person is in the mode of goodness, he doesn't always be in the mode of goodness. Sometimes there's influence of mode of passion and ignorance, but maybe predominantly maybe in goodness, but there are, like for example, in the morning hours, mostly everybody is in the mode, those who, I'm talking about devotees. they are mostly in the mode of goodness, especially those who come for Mangala Arti and do chanting the holy names and hear Bhagavatam, attend Guru Puja, all these activities, their prominence in the mode of goodness in the morning hours. That's why morning hours are very potent. To cultivate mode of goodness, it's good to start our day in a very holy way, like coming to temple, attend Mangalarti, then, doing chanting the holy names of the Lord and attending Guru Puja, greeting the deities. Rupa Goswami says 64 items in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So if you follow all that in the morning, the strong sadhana of the morning program, that can put us on a very good mode of goodness like that. So this mode of goodness, and again in the afternoon, slowly we drift to mode of passion little bit. Then little bit of ignorance like that. So there is, even though there is a prominence of modes, but there's competition between modes. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent and defeats the modes of passion and ignorance. Sometimes the mode of passion takes predominance and defeats goodness and ignorance. Sometimes mode of ignorance takes predominance and defeats goodness and passion. So in this way, there is constant competition between these three modes. Then the Lord says, how does the mode of goodness manifest itself? The mode of goodness manifests itself, can be experienced when all the gates of the body are eliminated by knowledge. What are the 9 gates of the body? 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, no mouth, genitals, and so all these 9 are illuminated by knowledge. So that is how does the mode of goodness manifest itself? When all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So that is how the mode of goodness manifests itself. And then, so like I told you, sometimes mode of goodness, there is a competition between the modes, and especially when the mode of goodness is prominent, what is the symptom? All the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. And when the mode of passion takes prominence, what happens? O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment. How does the mode of passion manifest itself? Great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. Uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. What are the 5 things of the mode of passion? When the mode of passion manifests itself, there's great attachment. This is number 1, great attachment. Second one is fruitive activity. Third one is intense endeavor. And then fourth one is uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. So this is how the mode of passion manifests itself. How does the mode of goodness manifest itself? When all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So that is how mode of goodness manifests itself. Mode of passion, great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. And how does the mode of ignorance manifest itself? Then there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru. Darkness, inertia, madness and illusion are manifested. So how does the mode of ignorance manifest itself? Darkness, inertia, indolence and illusion. Darkness, inertia, madness and illusion. That is how the mode of ignorance manifests itself. So when these modes compete with each other, so when mode of goodness is prominent, all the gates of the body are eliminated by knowledge. When the mode of passion takes predominance, then intense, what's that? A great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. And when there's increase in the mode of, how does the mode of ignorance manifest itself? Darkness, inertia, madness and illusion are manifested. So this is how the mode of ignorance manifests itself. Now what we are going to read is destination after death. In the 3 modes, at the very end you can ask. So how does the destination, what are the destination, these different modes, in whichever mode we are in, what is the destination we reach after death? That is what is explained in the next few verses. Yada satve pravruddheto pralayam yati deha brit tadottama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. Destination in the mode of goodness. So where do we go when we die in the mode of goodness? When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to pure higher planets of great sages. So when someone dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher state planets of the great sages. And when one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. That's especially on this earth planet, like the earth. So when someone dies in the mode of goodness, he goes to the higher planets where of the great sages. And then when somebody dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth in this middle planets, like, engaged in fruitive activity. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. So that is why, first of all, we have to come to the level of goodness. Then slowly, by engaging in devotional service, we have to transcend the modes. We cannot go back to Godhead in the mode of passion or ignorance, for sure. So we have to come to the goodness and again transcend that also. So in the last part of this chapter, Arjuna asked this question, he asked different questions. What are the symptoms, what is the behavior, and what is the, how to transcend these three modes. So gradually when we go through that, we will come to that. So destination, so now we read about how the three modes manifest itself, the results we'll be reading, but destination they reach. So mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets of great sages, and mode of passion, they live on the earthly planets where fruitive activities are done. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he goes to the animal kingdom. He will lose his human form. Human form is so precious. After 8,400,000 species of life, finally the soul gets this human body, which is very rare. And Prahlad says that only in human form one can perform devotional service, and one can break the cycle of repeated birth and death and go back to Godhead. No other form we can go back to Godhead. Only human form affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. No other form. That is why losing this human form is very, very unfortunate. And Krishna says that Nehabhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mayat mahato bhayat. Even in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. In what endeavor? In bhakti-yoga. Even a little swalpamapyasya dharmasya, even little bit you do, it will protect you from great danger. What is that great danger? Greatest type of fear? Losing human form. Death, of course, we'll all die. But losing human form is the greatest unfortunate thing. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. Even little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is that dangerous type of fear? Losing human form. So Krishna says, Svalpam appyase. Even if you do little bit of bhakti, Krishna will protect the human form. He's saying in the Gita, and also in the 6th chapter also, he says that those who take to this path, and if they do not complete, what will happen? Arjuna asked that question. Those who take this bhakti path and they cannot complete, and they get deviated, and they become like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere, what is the destination of such people? Then Krishna says that those who do bhakti, they'll never be Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Those who have done auspicious activities, they'll never be overcome by any evil. No evil can happen to them. And Krishna says that if somebody has done for a short time, he gives the opportunity to be born in a Brahman family or in a Vaishya family. And if somebody has done for a long time and could not complete, then they'll be given chance in a Goswami family, where from the beginning the devotional principles are instilled in the consciousness because of the being born in such a rare transcendental families. Like Prabhupada says in his purport that myself and my Guru Maharaj, we had the opportunity of being born in these transcendental families. So from the beginning, they were Krishna conscious, because in the previous life they have done like 80-90%. From the beginning they get attracted to these devotional principles because of the so much consciousness of the previous birth, and they automatically get attracted to these devotional principles and ultimately wash off all the this thing and they go back home, back to Godhead. So that is why bhakti, there is no loss. In the material world, we do so many things. We may accumulate $80 million, whatever. Then, when we die, we have to leave behind everything and go. And next life, again, we have to come and start from the scratch. But bhakti is not like that. If I have done like 80% in this life, next life I'll begin from 81 onwards. That's intact. So that is how bhakti is very powerful. How it will protect our human form and how we get... especially in this life, we are very, very fortunate that we got human birth, and also we born in India, and we got association of devotees, and we got the seed of bhakti where we can cultivate, Very, very fortunate situation. Prabhupada has created this fortune for us. So now coming back to this, next we are going to results of action in 3 modes. What is the result of action? The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. And action done in the mode of passion results in misery. So the difference between goodness and passion, anything you do from the beginning, because from the beginning till the end, there is only misery. Like for example, I want to buy a 10-bedroom house. I have a desire. I have so much desire to buy a 10-bedroom house. So to buy that house, I have to work so hard, day and night, to accumulate that money. And I take a big fat loan. To pay off that loan, I have to work so hard, day and night. And all my time is gone in going and working and paying. And I don't even have time to enjoy that house. So in the mode of passion, from the beginning to the end, there is only misery. Another thing I'll tell, in the mode of goodness, what happens in the mode of goodness, first we contemplate and then act. And in the mode of passion, we act and then we contemplate. Oh, I should not have done this. I did something and that didn't work out. Then I start repenting. Oh, why did I do this? I shouldn't have done that, I should have thought better. But in the mode of goodness, first to contemplate. Oh, if I do this, this will happen better. I know the consequences of that action. So I be very alert. Oh, better not do. First contemplation is happening even before action. And in the mode of ignorance, no contemplation, no action. But in the mode of transcendental consciousness, both are happening at the same time, because Krishna's intelligence, higher intelligence. So this is how the modes they work. And then the result of action, the result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery. And you are very, very active, you are working so hard, but then there is no happiness, there is only misery. Then, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Any action we do in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness only. Then, from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. Lobha, I want more, I want more, I want more. How much ever you have, you still want more and more and more and more. So there is no happiness at all. Krishna says in Gita, in the 16th chapter, 21st verse, Trividham narakasyedam dvaram na shunamatmanaha kamakrodhastatha lobhas tasmade tatrayam tejet. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Lust, anger and greed. There are 3 gates. Of course, there are 6 gates, but 3, Krishna is mentioning about 3 gates. Lust, anger, lust and greed, no? These 3. Trividham narakasyedam. They lead us to. So here, the Lord is said, the result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery. But action done in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Then from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness and illusion. Then Arjuna is asking, then the ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ता मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्ता अधो गच्छन्ति तामसा. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Krishna says in 16th chapter, for this demoniac people, I cast them life after life, like so many, like perpetually in the hellish planets, like because they are so demoniac. So Krishna says that repeatedly they get this demoniac species and very not good. So like that they live on the, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. What is the destination of these three modes? Mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets. Mode of passion, they live on the earthly planets. Mode of ignorance, they go down to the hellish worlds, and also animal kingdom also it is said. So Arjuna now is very interestingly asking how to transcend these three modes. So Arjuna is asking very interesting question here. Actually, before that there's another verse, the 19th verse, where it says that नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, actually we think we are doing, actually the modes are making us do. We are like puppets in the hands of modes. Whatever they dictate, we act. Then we claim that I did this, I did. Actually, we didn't do anything. The modes, because whatever mode we have acquired, in that mode we keep acting. Very nicely in Gita, Krishna explains how what type of foods we choose in three modes, what type of sacrifices we do in the three modes, what type of austerities we do in three modes, and what are the type of charities we do in three modes. And what is the knowledge in three modes, determination in three modes, understanding in three modes, happiness in three modes. All these things very nicely Krishna explaining in the 17th and 18th chapters also. So this knowing this knowledge, we become very discriminative. That is why this knowledge is very important for us. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar, Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Radhikar. When we have knowledge, Krishna is like Surya. Knowledge is like sun. Krishna, like, Krishna Surya Sama. So when there is knowledge, we cannot, the light and darkness cannot coexist, right? When there is light, there is no darkness. When there is darkness, there cannot be light. So they cannot coexist, either one of them only. So when we have knowledge, we have discrimination power. Oh my God. Especially after reading this knowledge, Prabhupada says in the purports that if when you read this chapter, definitely you will come to devotional service, no doubt on that. Because this knowledge gives us discrimination. What is good, what is bad, what activity is good, what activity is not good, what will liberate the soul, what will bind the soul. All this discrimination will come. Even by philosophical speculation, if you'll ultimately come to devotional service only. That powerful this chapter is. Then it said here that when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to these three modes, he attains my spiritual nature. So one who understands this, Krishna says, he attains to my spiritual nature. Then here Arjuna is asking this very interesting question. In second chapter 54th also, 54th verse also, Arjuna asks similar question about Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadihi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. Similar question here Arjuna is asking, how to know what are the symptoms of a person who has transcended the modes, and what is the behavior of such a person, and how to transcend these modes. These three questions Arjuna asked. Gunanetana titya trindehi deha samadbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkha vimuktam mritamashnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So when we become transcendental, it's not that we have to go back, we have to go back to Krishna, the spiritual world, only then we can enjoy happiness. No, even in this life, we can still enjoy the nectar of that blissful life. How we can do that? When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age and their distresses, can enjoy nectar even in this life. So Arjuna's question begins. Kairlingais Arjuna uvacha Kairlingais trin gunani tan atito bhavati prabho kimmachara katam chaitam strin guna nativartate. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is the symptom of a person who has transcended the three modes? I want to know that. Then next question, Arjuna is asking, what is his behavior? Achara, what is his achara? What is his behavior? And third question is asking is, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? So Krishna very nicely explaining in the Gunatita, how to become Gunatita, Guna Atita, transcend these gunas. That is what. Guna is compared to rope. Rope, na? We are all bound. Everybody thinks, oh, look, I am so free. Why are you people constricting yourself? No drinking coffee, tea, no watching TV, no eating onion, garlic, no this, no that. Why you are like that? You have to be free, you know. You have to enjoy your life. The more you think you are free, the more the mind, the modes are binding you. We see those three women with the ropes, right? Like we are puppets, like, you know, they're making us, like they're pulling the strings. So as per the pulling, like just like puppets, we are like puppets in the hands of modes of nature. They're trying to influence us, and accordingly we are trying to being, so that is why, but we can become free from that. How we can become, that's what Arjuna is asking, how to transcend these modes. So the more you think you are free to do anything and everything, the more you are bound. But only the free person is the devotee of the pure devotee of the Lord who has transcended the modes, and he is actually enjoying the real nectar of life. Jivarasvarupahe Krishnera Nityadas, in the association. We are Krishna's parts and Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are Krishna's eternal fragmental parts. We are meant to serve Krishna. Only then we can transcend these modes. Otherwise there is no way. We are stuck here. So here Arjuna is asking this question. Krishna is at a length is answering this. Sri Bhagavan uvacha prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham me vacha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanivrittani kankshati udasina vadasino gunairyo navichalyate gunavartanta ittevam yovatishtati nengate samadukka sukasvashta samaloshtaashmakanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindatma samstutihi manapamanayost tulyas tulyo mitrari pakshayoh sarvaramba parityagi gunatita sauchyate. So very nicely Krishna is answering here. The supreme, what was the first question Arjuna asked? What is the symptoms of a person who is gunatita? The supreme personality of God is, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress. So he doesn't get disturbed by happiness and distress. He becomes very equipoised in both. When something very happiness comes, he does not get elated. And when something distress happens, he does not become very, like, down. So he is on the same, like, samabhav, like that. Knowing that who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone and a piece of gold with an equal vision. So he does not discriminate, oh, this is gold, very valuable. This is just a stone, and earth. Everything he sees, for him, for a transcendental person, this gold, if you take, what is this? It's just a gold. Like, he sees like a piece of stone. There's no difference for him in terms of earth, stone and gold, like that. No? So one who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone and a piece of gold with an equal eye, and is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable. He does not only take desire and he hate undesirable, or he is equal in both. For him, there is no, like, he doesn't think that, oh, I don't want this, I want this. No, it's not like that. He is equal in both desirable and undesirable, and steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor. For him, it doesn't make difference because it's transcendental. Like we can see the examples of Bharat Maharaj, Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat, when Rahugana was carrying this palanquin, Rahugana was sitting in the palanquin. This Jada Bharat, like 3 people were carrying, there was 1 person missing. So they were looking for who to find, like, they somehow happened to take this Jada Bharat. Oh, he's just sitting here, like, he just, come on, carry. So he was just jumping, like, there were ants, he was jumping. And then the king is shouting from inside, why can't you carry properly? Why is this moving so much? Then, then he started to yell so much. Whatever he said, Jada Bharat, no response, nothing, Then finally, are you dead? Is there life in you? Regardless of my telling, you are not doing anything. Are you living or dead, like that? Then he got down from the palanquin and started to shout at this Jada Bharat. Then, Jada Bharat, shh, he's telling something. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Talking something. Then he said to Rahugana, oh, you seem to be a very great personality. Regardless of my scolding so much, you are not doing anything. Maybe you are a very great personality, like that. Then he said that, oh, in this life you are king, I am servant. In next life I may become king, you may become servant. So all these material designations are so temporary, like that he started to enlighten. Then later on he said that, oh, I am so much, this pride, by this pride, I am bitten by this pride, But he says that I don't want to do this Vaishnava aparad, like that. But Rahugana did this, though he was a king, he was very, had pride, but later at least he could understand how great Jada Bharat was, what is his transcendental position, like that. So anyway, coming back to this, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Prahlad was sent to Sanda and Amarka for education. Hiranyakashipu sent Hiranyakashipu sent Prahlad to Sanda and Amarka for education. And the very first thing Prahlad did not like what they taught him was discriminating somebody to be a friend and somebody an enemy. He did not like such an education at all. So Prahlad says that considering somebody a friend, somebody an enemy, what is type? I don't like this type of education at all. Then, so like that, when a person transcendental, he does not look these, she is very equipoised. Then our last question of Arjuna was how to transcend the modes of nature. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So how can we transcend the modes? One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, not that today I have mood, tomorrow I have no mood, Today I feel like going to temple, tomorrow I don't, next day I don't feel like going. So you too much listen to your mind, mind is dictating the moods, So we don't give up ourselves to our mind, we control the mind, not we become puppet. The mind will tell, we become ghost, we have to become Goswami, we should not become Godas. The mind will put so many things, Mangalarti, suddenly the alarm we put, then, feel, hey, just sleep, it's okay. At that moment is very critical, what decision you make. Going to temple, beginning when the alarm rings, it's like a poison, But then when you make determination, go to temple and attend all morning Mangalarti, it ends like a nectar. Very nice. Feel very happy. Oh, I did such a wise thing this morning of going to temple, associating with devotees, hearing Krishna Katha, everything. So it is like that. We have to be very discriminative and very intelligent and be alert to our mind. Mind keeps putting so many distractions and that says no, 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 like that. But we have to say, no, you listen to me. I'm not going to listen to you, you listen to me. So that is where our intelligent discrimination, our intelligence has to be stronger than the mind. Otherwise, mind will take over the intelligence and we fall to victim to that. So one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, we should be doing devotional service. At once transcends the modes of material nature and comes to the level of Brahman. This Brahman is nothing but there are three phases of understanding of absolute truth. What is that? Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahman is the beginning stage. Like there is Satchid Ananda. Brahman is more like a eternity. Brahman, Paramatma is Chid and Ananda. The Bhagavan is Ananda. So when Bhagavan realization is the topmost realization which includes Brahman and Paramatma. But only Brahman realization is incomplete. Of course, though it is said here in the purport that, it is said that Brahman is immortality, imperishability and eternity and happiness. Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. In second chapter, second verse of Gita, there's an example given of this sun. How the sun's rays and sun, like Brahman Jyoti, like from Krishna's transcendental body, this light comes. So many people, they aspire to enter into this, merge into this Brahman. So Brahman realization, only staying in that stage, there's every risk of falling down. But we have to go to Paramatma and then like, the four Kumaras example given in the purport. So four Kumaras, they were, they were the four sons of Brahma. And they wanted to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, and the seventh gave this to Jaya Vijaya, they stopped them. And they got so angry and they cursed them. That they become, so at that time what happened, the Lord came to settle all the matter. There was a lot of discussion going on between these four Kumaras and the Jaya Vijaya like that. No? So then that time the Lord comes and then, when four Kumaras get the smell of the Tulasi offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, Kinjal Kamishta Tulasi Makaranda Vayu, when that smell from the Tulasi enter into the nostrils of these four Kumaras, they become from impersonalists to devotees. So like that, one should become devotees, otherwise just remaining in Brahman platform, is actually every risk of falling down, because there is no higher engagement there. So devotional service is very good because there's a nature of the soul is to be active. We have to do devotional service. Otherwise, we are not getting complete understanding. Brahman is only incomplete realization of the absolute truth. It's not complete realization. And the living entity, although Brahman by nature has the desire to lord it over material world. So that's the beginning stage. So it can be said that how come one who has come to the level they can. Krishna is the concentrated form of Brahman, as the sun is the intensified form of light. Although Krishna and Brahman are non-different, Krishna is the support of Brahman. The completeness of Brahman is Krishna. So it is said that one may ask after reading text 26, why one in full devotional service will attain Brahman. After all, his desire is not Brahman realization but Krishna's service. Krishna therefore expands his answer for the clarification and ends the chapter by describing his own relationship to Brahman. He thus again stresses bhakti. So bhakti is the topmost. So one has to come to the bhakti. Only then the real Jivera Swarupa Hoya Krishnera Nityadasa. We have to come to that level of serving Krishna. Only then we can transcend this. Of course, transcendental one can come to the level of Brahman, but the complete realization, bliss aspect, like Brahman is only eternity, we can realize that. And then Chit, that is Paramatma. And Bhagavan is the complete realization. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti Shabdi. So Bhagavan realization, Sat Chit Ananda, all three aspects are completely there. Thank you all very much for your attention. Hope it made sense. Thank you all very much. So it pretty much covered the entire 14th chapter summarization today, and tomorrow 15th chapter will begin. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any question.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for a very wonderful class. I just want to know, like, yes, these three modes of nature is confusing, like sometimes. And just want to know, like, does the three modes of nature acts on a particular living entity as per its karmic reactions or its desire, or it has the freedom to act on the living entity as per its will?
It is our, because we are giving our nature, no, our we have acquired this mode from the nature, from the previous life, like how we continuously in those modes. Of course, we don't have to be bound that we can get out of that, but we don't desire that. No, we just let them only control us, but we can come out of them. Like we can say, like, we don't have to be under the modes. We have the choice to. That is possible only in human form. In human form, by higher discrimination, just now I told, now after reading the entire 14th chapter, we get this knowledge and we get discriminate. Oh my God, this mode of goodness is binding me, like this mode of passion. That is why knowledge is very, very wisdom, When we know this knowledge, then, we will understand, oh my God, then we can introspect ourselves, which mode am I? How can I come to mode of goodness? Actually, if you are interested in 11th canto, in 13th chapter, there is one verse, which in that purport, Prabhupada says that, very nicely it is given. If you are interested, I can tell you which chapter. Please read that. How that dharma, how the mode of passion and ignorance can be overcome. They are all adharma like that. Then mode of goodness can be strengthened by the dharma can be strengthened by the mode of goodness. And how to cultivate this goodness, there are 10 items that are given. The place, the time, the person with whom we are associating, and there are 10 items that is given, and very nicely when we read that, we can put it into practice in our life. So the people with whom we are associating, that also will make us influence the modes. Like somebody who is in a mode of passion or ignorance, then by taking their association, we will not elevate to goodness, but we will also go down more. So that is why we have to be very discriminative with whom we are mixing. The people whom we are mixing, and the time of the day, when is it very good to cultivate mode of goodness, and the place where we are, like chanting the holy name, we can come to temple and chant. Otherwise, go into some busy places where there's so much passion in the city and all. There's so much noise, so much. That is why ideally it is temple. If there is, in some places there are no temple, then you can go to garden, where there is more like greenery, more tranquil, very peaceful. There you can go and chant. So like that, in very nicely it is given in that. I can tell you which chapter, which verse and all. In that purport is very illuminating actually. When I did my Bhakti-Vedanta course, I was reading 11th canto in great detail. In that I happened to see this, and I really liked, because the coming to the mode of goodness is very, very important. Otherwise, we'll be in the lower modes only. Still the modes keep competing, but we have to have discrimination. See, this is what, from the knowledge, from the intelligence, we discriminate, The faculty of intelligence is that discrimination will come. What is good, what is bad, what is to be done. Krishna says, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurashura na shocham na pichachara na satyam. In the 16th chapter, Krishna says that those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, proper behavior, or truth is found in them. So that is why this knowledge is like a wisdom for us. That is why we have to read Shastra. That is why in the ISKCON there is a lot of stress given to reading the book distribution. Reading, first of all, even before you distribute books, you have to read book first. Then, you can tell so much. Like, for example, when I'm selling this book, when people ask what is there in that book, then I can tell because I have read the book, right? Otherwise, if I give, what is there? I don't know, means, how can you impress that person? You can tell, oh, in this book, this is there, in the modes of nature is there, karma, there are 5 topics, kala, karma, all these things, there are 5. What is Ishvara, Prakriti, Kala, Karma, and all these things are there. Like we can tell. So that is why we have to read. Even before we distribute books, we have to read. So this knowledge is wisdom. Then we can act from the knowledge, This knowledge is like wisdom. All our activities will be done properly because behind this activity is that knowledge is there. Oh, Krishna said this in the Gita, I should act like this. This is not good, this is good, this is. So we discriminate. That's very important. So I will tell you where it is. So that first of all, so the nature we acquire, that will make us act in those modes. But we don't have to fall victim to that. We can come out of that. Like these 10 items, I'll tell you, please read that. Very, very illuminating. So you can, you will know how you can situate yourself in the mode of goodness. That is why first you have to come to the level of goodness. Like I said, even when we prominently we may be in the mode of goodness, but still sometimes a little passion will be there. But still, we have to be alert. That's why when you read this knowledge, you can become alert and don't let these modes take you over, and you try to come out of the influence of these modes like that. Anyway, Krishna concluded the chapter saying that only by devotional service and unfailing in all circumstances, not that today I felt like doing, tomorrow I don't do. That way you cannot transcend the modes. You have to be very fixed. You have to do with full heart, attention to detail, and Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, the 9 laws of devotional service are very, very powerful. Hearing, chanting, remembering, all these things, especially Shravanam is very, very useful. Shravanam is very, very important. Entire Bhagavatam is stressing on Shravanam actually.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,